Invite Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler as their guests underscores how Republican scrutiny on the Biden family could continue on Capitol Hill long after President Joe Biden has left the White House. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Hunter Biden sued the IRS in 2023, alleging that Shapley and Ziegler's disclosures of his confidential financial information were illegal. President Trump on Wednesday issued what he called a last warning to Hamas to release all remaining hostages held in Gaza. Mr. Trump, in a statement on his Truth Social platform soon after meeting a group of recently released Israeli hostages, added that he was sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. On Wall Street, a good day as the Dow was up by 485 points, the Nasdaq rose 267. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks climbed after President Trump pulled back on some of his tariffs, raising hopes he may avoid a worst-case trade war that grinds down economies and sends inflation higher. The S&P 500 rose 1.1%, bouncing back from its sell-off that erased all of its Trump bump since Election Day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbing 1.1%, and the Nasdaq Composite gained 1.5%. The market turned higher after President Trump said he's granting a one-month exemption for U.S. automakers on his stiff new tariffs for Mexican and Canadian imports. The Dow was up 485 points today to close at 43,006. The Nasdaq gained 267 to 18,552. The S&P 500 gained 64 points to 5842. With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Mostly clear this evening with a low temperature dipping to 40. Tomorrow the sunshine is plentiful, but we're cooler with a high of just 59, and it'll stay breezy for you. For Friday, look for a blend of sunshine and clouds, a high topping out at 67. And don't forget, we spring forward this weekend with an hour on Saturday night. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody, on this Wednesday night, a glorious Wednesday in South Carolina. I hope the storm that came through wasn't too rough on you. Wasn't too bad around these parts, as far as I could tell. Not a whole heck of a lot of rain that I saw, and not too much wind, some, but not a whole lot. So, looks like we survived another so-called catastrophic weather event here in South Carolina. To live another day, to have another night of sports talk, that is indeed worth living for, as far as I'm concerned. And our phone number is 888-898-2525. 2525, South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number for you to reach us here on Sports Talk. We got a lot to talk about. I know last night some of you were not with us, at least over the air, because of basketball, baseball. Maybe you're watching on our stream or getting us on our audio stream. Remember to download the Chief Sports app. That's another way to have easy access to Sports Talk on a nightly basis. Terrific sports app where you can listen to this show and many others from around the country. Chief Sports app. It's free, and it's handy, and it's a good thing to have. So we talked a lot last night about what was going on Capitol Hill yesterday with the House subcommittee having hearings. We had Representative Fry on with us last night, kind of explaining what the bill he's working on, what it means, and basically, and this comes on the heels, of course, of the ACC and Clemson and Florida State settling their lawsuit, and we talked a good bit about that last night. We can pick up on that as well. But basically, what Russell Fry is trying to do is do as little as possible from a government standpoint, but to help provide some guardrails for the colleges to be able to operate in this new era of NIL and pay for play, though he doesn't want the athletes to be known as employees by any means. And neither does Shane Beamer, who, of course, testified up on Capitol Hill yesterday. And he made the rounds. I saw a picture of him with Tim Scott and a picture with him with another representative. So he was getting around. He kind of looked political, if you ask me. Could Shane Beamer one day do a Tommy Tuberville and run for office? Could he run for governor? Could he run for senator? Talking about Shane Beamer. That's entirely not possible as far as anything that's in the works. I'm just thinking out loud. But he looked like a politician up there, to be honest with you. Speaking of the Gamecocks, today, and this is great, they've done this now for 2 years in a row, very appreciative of the fact that they did this. They made available practically every transfer who has arrived on campus, made them available for one-on-one interviews with anybody in the media who wanted to be there. And so tonight you'll hear from Air Noland, Prentice Air Noland. Air is his middle name, which does come from the sneaker. His dad was a big Michael Jordan fan and had a pair of Air Jordans, and so they gave him the nickname or the middle name Air, Prentice Air Noland. And I tell you what, I mean, we'll see what happens. He's going to go through spring practice, and he's going to be right there to compete and push Lenora Sellers. But this guy, first of all, looking at him, he is, I don't know if he is as big as Lenoris, but he's big. You know, I don't know what his height and his weight happen to be off the top of my head, but he is impressive looking, physically impressive looking. So the other thing is, I'm going to say, without really seeing him throw the football, he is probably a better pure passer than Lenora Sellers is. You know, Lenoris was not a pure passer. And they improved that part of his game, and he still has room to grow as a passer, as we all saw last year. But his combination of passing and running, especially when he cuts it loose as a runner, as we saw, when he cuts it loose, well, that's a hell of a package. Nolan is not so much the runner, but he is a passer. I went back and looked at my notes from his recruiting days. He passed for over 10,000 yards and 126 touchdowns in high school. And he comes from the same high school as the running back that Clemson and South Carolina are going heavily after. So I don't know if that'll help South Carolina in that particular case, considering this is an old high school buddy. I guess they know each other. Carson Baker is the running back from Fairburn, Georgia. So my point in all this is, and we'll see how things develop, and it's all just hot air right now, just kind of speaking out loud. But, I mean, Aaron Nolan, I think, is going to play a role with this offense. Has to. And, I mean, a specific role. Now, will they alternate quarterbacks? Will it be that kind of thing? I don't know yet. He's got to go through spring practice and show what he can do. But I just think this guy is talented. Now, he is left-handed. Nothing wrong with left-handed quarterbacks. I wonder what that means, however, from a play-calling standpoint. You know, left-handers, certainly they have different angles and a different view of things because they're looking. I mean, they're throwing it left-handed. Their blind side is the complete opposite of a right-hander's blind side, and that affects your offensive tackles, right? You know, you want your best offensive tackle protecting the blind side. So, I mean, that's something they're going to have to figure out. But I like the look of this guy. They probably have hit on one here. So we'll have that interview for you coming up. Also, we'll hear from South Carolina basketball coach Lamont Paris following last night's loss to Georgia. And, you know, the final score was kind of close, and the Gamecocks kind of had a little bit of a chance there towards the end. But they were being handled pretty well by Georgia last night. It was a double-digit deficit for much of the second half. And Georgia is pushing for a tournament spot. They're pushing for an NCAA tournament spot, and that loss clinched the 16th seed for South Carolina in the SEC tournament. So we know the Gamecocks definitely going to play the 1 o'clock game on a week from today, and now they just have to wait and see. There's like a trio of teams that could end up being their first-round opponent. See how things play out over the next couple of days with that. So we got that. Clemson basketball tonight. Clemson heading up to Boston College, hoping to continue their winning ways. The Tigers, you know, they're red hot. I got to tell you, I mean, yeah, Duke is playing at an extremely, extremely high level, and there are some others as well. But, man, there aren't many teams playing as well as Clemson is right now. I was just going back and looking at some of their numbers. I mean, they're beating everybody by double digits. Their shooting percentages are high. Their turnover percentages are low. Their assist-to-turnover ratio is a very big positive. They're outscoring teams on average by 11 points per game. They're holding teams to 66 points per game. They're playing excellent defense. I mean, they're just doing everything well right now. They're doing everything well. I don't see why, and Smitty will be covering the ACC tournament in Charlotte next week. I'll be in Nashville for the day. Maybe 2 days. Smitty should – I mean, Clemson's probably going to have to play Louisville in the semifinals, you know, if everything holds to chalk. Probably going to have to play Louisville, and they lost to Louisville on the road early in the year. Both the teams have gone on from there to have great seasons. I don't see why this Clemson team can't get to the ACC tournament championship game and win the darn thing. I mean, if they play Duke, they've already beaten Duke once. Now you're talking about it won't be a neutral court. It'll be, well, you know what? There is absolutely no reason, Clemson people, that if you make it to the championship game, because, you know, the Tar Heels will be selling their tickets. There's no reason for you people not to go gobble up those tickets and make the, what's it called now, the Spectrum Center? Little John of Charlotte, to turn that thing into a Clemson home. You can't let Duke go in there and buy all those tickets. Now, I'm kind of putting the old cart before the horse, but you can't let it happen. So be prepared to get it done from a fan standpoint. We got baseball this afternoon going on at Clemson. Clemson opening something like a 2-month homestand. No, I think it's like 16-game homestand, something like that. Fell behind early to Presbyterian. Well, fourth inning, Presbyterian took a 2-0 lead. Then Clemson put a 6 spot on the board in the 5th inning, and Tigers are leading 6-2 as they play the bottom of the 7th. They have 2 out, runners on first and second. 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors, 8 left for Clemson, 2, 4, and 2, 4 left for PC. PC got a homer from Oots to center for their 2 runs, 2-run homer. Clemson in the 5th Listy, RBI double down the first baseline. Purify, who I think is a terrific player. Purify. Sacrifice fly for an RBI. Peño, a single to short for an RBI. Becerra walked with the bases loaded. That's how the Tigers got their 4 runs. On the mound for Clemson thus far, Bennett went 2 innings, a hit. Fitzgerald went 3 innings, gave up 2 hits and the home run. Lee, an inning and 2/3 and no hits. And Cole, a third of an inning, gave up a hit. That's been the pitching for Clemson. South Carolina tonight, down at the Citadel. And Matt Smith is there to cover South Carolina and the Citadel for us tonight along the river there in Charleston. Smitty, welcome in. How are things in Charleston?
Things are great. I hope you don't overhear too much of the country music we've got here in the background, but I'm excited about tonight's game. The Citadel and South Carolina, both pitchers warming up, a pair of southpaws going up for either team. Fisher Paulson going for the Citadel, and Jarvis Evans, the Georgia transfer, going for South Carolina. And he doesn't have good numbers, but I think that's a bit misleading. He gave up a homer in each of his appearances, so he's carrying an 8.44 ERA, but I expect that to go down. But both teams look sharp, too, Phil. The Citadel in their infantry blue, which I know you love, and South Carolina in their black road tops tonight. And, of course, for South Carolina, we're looking – I think the question, and you covered South Carolina in the sweep to Clemson, I think we're waiting to see if this is going to be a team that will hit consistently. We know about what Nathan Hall has given them at the top of the lineup, what Ethan Petrie brings, but this is not a lineup that is threatening 1 through 9 right now and hitting. After last night, they put some runs up, and they've upped their team average to 268. But I think if you're in Paul Maneri's shoes, you've got to be searching for consistency from this team. We always talk about the length of a lineup when we talk about college baseball. How tough are you in the 6-hole, the 7-hole, the 8-hole? How much pressure do you keep on pitchers? And South Carolina hasn't done that, and we're waiting to see if they can do that. Maybe it starts tonight. Yeah, they did win last night. They were behind, and then they rallied, put a big inning together, and they won their game last night over Davidson. They really got some good relief pitching last night. I think that was a bonus for them, really some good relief pitching. So, but hitting still continues to be a big question mark. Plus, more injuries on the team. They're hoping to get a couple of guys back this weekend. What does the lineup look like? Have you gotten the starting lineup? You know, I don't have the lineup, but I'll get it here momentarily, and we can go over that. But, yeah, that's something I know you covered that. Maneri has juggled it since Saturday, both Sunday and last night, and it's for the reasons that we're discussing. You know, he doesn't want to give pitchers the opportunity to just pitch around those threats at the top and middle of the lineup and be able to wiggle free. And so I'm interested like you. I'll get that lineup in a couple of minutes and pull it up, and we can go over that. And also, you mentioned pitching, and they have gotten good relief pitching. I think he's got to be happy with where the pitching is. The only question we've got right now is, how can they get through the midweek games? Is that going to be an issue? But I thought the pitch has held up even against a really good offensive club like Clemson. Yes, they were swept, but I think you saw in spots, you were there with your own eyes, in spots, you see they've got plenty of good arms, and they're going, as you said, they've got some coming off the DL or IL shortly as well. Well, yeah, he said that Kennedy Jones could be back this weekend. He hurt his shoulder the other day, and Lee Croy, who's been dealing with a broken thumb, hopes to have him back this coming weekend. They lost starting outfielder prior to last night, Brandon, transfer outfielder. Anyway, he had an MRI on his hip, and he is not in the lineup tonight. I've got the lineup. It'll be Nathan Hall, followed by Evan Stone, Ethan Petrie, Max Kaufer will be in the lineup tonight. KJ Scobie, Gavin Braylon will be behind the plate. Bo Collins will be at first again. Jordan Carrion will be at third, and Henry Kazmar, who hit his first home run for the Gamecocks last night, he will be the shortstop. So that is he'll be the second baseman. He'll be the second baseman.
So that is the lineup for the Gamecocks tonight. You mentioned Jarvis Evans, a transfer from Georgia, will be on the hill tonight for South Carolina. They'll be looking for something good out of him as the Gamecocks try to win as many of these midweek games. And, I mean, we're really not going to know more about them quality-wise until they play Oklahoma. Not to take anything away from these teams they're playing here in the midweek, but they're not going to – they really shouldn't be stressed by too many of these teams before they get to the SEC season, which begins a week from this weekend when they take on Oklahoma here in Columbia.
No, I agree with that. But Paul Maneri, first year on the job here at South Carolina, I think he's looking to see which bats he can trust and which arms and what they call the high leverage situations he can trust before he gets to Oklahoma. He needs to know. And I don't think his mind is made up about some of these guys. As you mentioned, some of the players like Jordan Carrion hasn't really hit so far. Kastner hasn't hit so far. We know they can defend. So are those guys going to have spots in the lineup come SEC play where they start swinging the bat a little bit better? And, look, we don't want to ignore the Citadel either. As you mentioned, there's no pushover. They had some good performances. They just disposed of Yale, and their pitching has been good. And I'm going to get to see something tonight, Phil. They're after your own heart. Something you haven't seen the Yankees do in years. The Citadel is one of the premier sacrifice bunting teams because they've been playing in these low-scoring games. They've got 13 sacrifice bunts so far. I'm going to get to see it tonight. They'll probably try to lay one down, something you haven't seen in a Red Sox-Yankees game that you stay up for in any of those 4-hour clashes you watch where everybody's swinging for the short porches. You don't get to see those. I'm going to take that in, and I'll report. I'll text you as soon as I see one.
All right, very good. Before we let you go, what's the crowd looking like? And with the weather we've had moving across the state, what's the wind doing? That's always important in any ballpark.
It absolutely is. And right now it's not too gusty here at Riley Park. The field is in terrific condition. They just took the tarp off of it because they wanted to let that last bit of mist get through. And everything is in great condition. It's a late arriving crowd right now. I'll report on that when I get back to you in a little bit. Not too windy. If there is any wind, it's blowing in favor of the pitchers right now, but the conditions are great for baseball. Everybody's in their long sleeves. And once they get that sweat going, it's going to be a great night for ball here at Riley Park.
All right, man. We'll look to hear from you. Enjoy yourself, and we'll talk to you in a few minutes.
All right. Talk soon.
Okay, that's Smitty. He is down in Charleston. We're going to get to your phone calls coming up. 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. We're going to update basketball, SEC Women's Tournament underway in Greenville. Update that information for you. Other basketball, other baseball, and recruiting, of course, coming up for you as well. Oh, we're going to be at the Classic tomorrow night in Georgetown. We're going to talk more about that, too. Be right back.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Some credit cards hit you with sky-high rates, annual fees, and surprise costs, but not here. Founders Federal Credit Union is proud to offer credit cards with rates below the national average, giving you more control over your finances. Our Essential MasterCard rates are as low as 13.25% APR. Our rewards cards start at just 15.25% APR. points you can earn while you spend. And the best part, there are no annual fees and no balance transfer fees, just straightforward savings, designed to keep more of your hard-earned money where it belongs, in your hands. So whether you're looking to consolidate debt, build credit, or just want a smarter way to spend, we've got the right card for you. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc to learn more or apply for a new credit card today. Relax, you're with Founders Federal Credit Union. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Wide open, somebody pour me a drink, somebody bum me a smoke. I'm about to get on a buzz, I'm about to get on a roll. Yeah, I've been breaking my back, just keeping up with the Joneses. Y'all know what I mean, and y'all know how it goes. When it's up on a Friday, 9 pay, sliding over my way. I can't even think when I can hear them calling my name.
All right, I have to correct a mistake. I know that's shocking. Made an error. Well, it was hard to read the tweet by the USC baseball people because they had the positions like in garnet and everything was just sort of blurry. So I made a mistake. Kazmar will be at short tonight for the Gamecocks, and they're going to have Carry-On playing second base. So Carry-On at second, Kazmar at short, Scobie at third, Braylon the catcher, Hollins at first, Petrie in right, Stone in left, Hall in center, and Crawford DHing. That's everybody. Just to make sure I got that right. And one other thing I want to mention here quickly, that is that the South Carolina women's golf team, which I fully expect to win a national championship here sooner or later. They have won. Well, hang on. They have finished in a tie with LSU at 11 over par at the Darius Rucker Intercollegiate. South Carolina shot 6 over today, and LSU shot 2 over. So now I've got to find out if they did an overtime, a playoff thing. I'm sure they did, South Carolina and LSU. So got to do a quick search on that. And for the folks holding on the phones, I apologize. We're going to get to you here in just a moment after the break. But I really like to follow the South Carolina women's golf team for a lot of different reasons. First of all, they're really, really good. So it looks like they've, let's see. Larice Rehnquist, she's the individual winner. And I'm trying to see how the team competition turned out. Well, we'll give you that after we come back from the break. Don't go away.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Mostly clear this evening with a low temperature dipping to 40. Tomorrow the sunshine is plentiful, but we're cooler with a high of just 59, and it'll stay breezy for you. For Friday, look for a blend of sunshine and clouds, a high topping out at 67. And don't forget, we spring forward this weekend with an hour on Saturday night. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting. A senior Canadian government official says Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is not willing to lift Canada's retaliatory tariffs if President Trump leaves any tariffs on Canada. The official confirmed the stance on condition of anonymity. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said there might be carve-outs coming to the 25% tariffs placed on Canada and Mexico by President Trump, a softening of the U.S. position after Tuesday's tax hike. The stock market worried consumers and started a trade war. President Trump has issued what he calls a last warning to Hamas to release all remaining hostages held in Gaza. Trump, in a statement on his Truth Social platform soon after meeting 8 former hostages at the White House on Wednesday, added that he was sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. This is SRN News.
I was thinking about the things that matter to me when it comes to calling the plumber. First, most of us call the plumber out of a need, often a crisis. So you want reliability. Then, we're in a vulnerable place already, so you want someone you can trust, someone who will be fair in their pricing and handle things professionally. These are some of the reasons I feel comfortable recommending Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, they've been out to my home. They've been out to my brother's home, too. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning did such a great job. And you know, maybe this might not matter as much to some people, but they're locally owned. A lot of these plumbing companies you've heard of used to be local, and now they're owned by big national or even international conglomerates. Working with a locally owned company matters. It keeps your pricing down, and the money stays local here in the community. Josh and his team at Franklin makes customer service their top priority. I trust them. You can too, especially during these vulnerable times. Online, it's franklinplumbing.sc.com or call them 799-2222. That's 799-2222.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Some credit cards hit you with sky rate, annual fees, and surprise costs, but not here. Founders Federal Credit Union is proud to offer credit cards with rates below the national average, giving you more control over your own finances. Our Essential MasterCard rates are as low as 13.25 APR. Prefer rewards? Our rewards cards start at just 15.25% APR, so you can earn while you spend. And the best part, there are no annual fees and no balance transfer fees. Just straightforward savings designed to keep more of your hard-earned money where it belongs, in your hands. So whether you're looking to consolidate debt, build credit, or just want a smarter way to spend, we've got the right card for you. Visit foundersfederal.com/cc to learn more or apply for a new credit card today. Relax. You're with Founders Federal Credit Union. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Tune in at 6, don't miss the vibe. South Carolina's pride, we're live. Sports Talk's the place to be. From the court to the field, we're breaking news free. Join the team, follow X for more. We're taking over, that's for sure. Corn's insight, Bergen's wit, Cohen's energy. They're the perfect fit. 2 hours of sports talk bliss. Don't miss a minute of this. Sports Talk, the place to
All right, I had to do some quick research because I don't understand why the golf website that covers a tournament won't give you the details about a playoff when 2 teams finish with a tie. I had to do some searching, but long story short, LSU wins the tiebreaker with South Carolina to win the Darius Rutger Intercollegiate. It's one of the top women's collegiate golf tournaments in the country, televised on the Golf Channel. They both finished at +11. The Gamecocks' Louise Ridquist Louise Ridquist and Kendall Todd of Arkansas, they tied for individual honors at -1. So a card playoff. They did it, let me see if I find out exactly how they did that thing. Non-counting scores. They won the title over a tiebreaker for non-counting scores. Wow. So the scores that did not make it into the counting for the rounds, that's what they go back and look at. So I guess that means every shot's important, even those that don't count in the 3 rounds. If you end up in a tie, those scores come into play. So LSU wins that over South Carolina. Okay, in just a minute, we're going to catch up with Chris Deering, who covered the South Carolina game for us last night, South Carolina, Georgia, and get his thoughts on that. We'll hear from Lamont Paris. Before we do that, quick phone call. 888-898-2525 is the number. Rodney down in Mount Pleasant, been hanging on, and we appreciate that. So we'll give you a couple of minutes of Sports Talk time. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well, Phil. How are you today?
Good, sir.
All right. Hopefully everybody else there is doing well. One of your partners in crime is down in my area, catching in the Citadel and USC play. Anyway, before I forget some of the other items that I was going to cover, I wanted to first start, I guess, order of priority. This past Monday was SC State's birthday, 129 years of doing the state's work as far as providing graduates to the area throughout the world. Wanted to also get a couple of items that happened, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't had a chance to get it. The women's, I think it's on track. I was trying to look it up while I was waiting. But anyway, the coach's daughter won, I think it's either the decathlon or pentathlon. It's one of those events. But Norfolk State has been dominating track and field. But anytime if somebody else gets a chance to break through, whether it's individually or a team event, that's something to be proud of. But it's one of those things where if the coaches either has a son or daughter that's on the team, you hope most of the time that they're able to contribute and not just being on the team because it's their child and got a chance to just actually play. This person stepped up and actually won recognition for herself as well as the school. Getting to the top billing by the South Carolina State men's basketball team. We're currently number 1, and I know our sister school, Clemson, is doing an excellent job being hot, but the Bulldogs have 8 straight conference wins and just knocked off Norfolk State and took care of Howard University on Monday. This coming Thursday, they hope to finish out with 9 wins and have a share of the conference title. They hadn't done that since the 03-04 year, and then won it outright was the year before with Coach Alexander when they went to the tournament. So
where is the tournament this year? The league tournament?
It's up in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
It's been up there for a while. That's one of those things how, if you remember how when it was either in Greensboro or Charlotte, all of the other schools except for Duke, Wake Forest, and NC State of those would always say, it's no need to try to win the title because they get too much home cooking. Well, Norfolk State has done a good job of winning, but last year the Bulldogs may have won, I think, round moving, but this year, that old expression, we're not just trying to get a win, kick the you-know-what door in and head to wherever you're going to have your competition. But there is a tournament coming up in Charlotte, I think the same week as the regular NCAA tournament that they've started in Charlotte, where they're going to invite the either the regular season conference champion or anybody that was a significant high team as far as HBCU teams from either MEAC, SWAC, as well as the Division II CIAA and SIAC, a chance to compete almost similar to what the Celebration Bowl has done for basketball. So, of course, the Bulldogs want to be in the big dance, but that would be an excellent consolation prize, and you don't have to go that far. So we have a good contingent of Bulldog alums in Charlotte, and depends on how things go. I may try to make it up that way as well, but it'll be I want to say it starts that Thursday, the 20th, through the 22nd. They'll have both men's and women's teams up there. So that's something to consider to check out. But other than that, go Bulldogs.
Keep in touch, Rodney. We appreciate it. Yeah, they're having a really good basketball season, coming off a really good football season at South Carolina State. Maybe it's because Buddy Pugh's in charge now. You know, he's the interim AD at South Carolina State, and everything Buddy Pugh touches turns to gold. So maybe that is the reason why. Chris Deering will be joining us in just a moment. Let me update some things baseball-wise up at Clemson. Tigers and Presbyterian, they have moved to the – what inning? Tigers and Presbyterian, they have moved to the – okay. My computer is running very slowly. Like, too slow for my purposes. What should I do?
I don't know.
Plumber, I thought you know computers.
I do, but you bought the computer, so.
10-2, Clemson leading Presbyterian. So Tigers, they've got 2 on, 1 out. So they could get this thing to the run rule. Tigers added 4 more runs in the 7th inning to blow it open, 10-2. What did they do in the 7th? Purify tripled to center, a 3-run triple for him, and Gaffney singled through the left side for the RBI to clean that up. So the Tigers are up now 10-2, cruising to yet another victory as they open up this long homestand. And South Carolina and the Citadel should be was that a 6:30 or 7 o'clock first pitch? Do you remember what Smitty said? I don't remember if it was 6:30 or 7. And I'm waiting for this thing to load on my computer. I don't know why this thing is running so slowly. So let's go to Chris Deering, who is not slow at all. In fact, he made the ride down I-20, as so many high schools have been doing over the last, month. They've been playing the semifinals. I think we're getting the last semifinal games done, and then we get to the state championship game starting tomorrow. But he's at the Florence Center for high school basketball, but he covered the Gamecocks for us last night for Sports Talk and SportsTalkSC.com. And so thank you for that, Mr. Deering. You did a great job. So I wanted to have you on for just a couple of quick minutes to get your overview of the game, what you thought of the Gamecocks' performance, why they came up short.
Like you do, really slow, and that makes sense, But as far as the Gamecocks go, it's much of the same of what we've seen all season long from them. They didn't really get blown out. They made it a close game in the second half. They started out really slow. I thought that Georgia controlled the pace in that first half. Shot the ball really well, shot the ball over 50% in the first half. And that sort of got the Gamecocks behind the 8 ball. And like I said, we've seen that several times this year, especially since conference play has begun. And it was just too much to overcome. They did it, it was a 11-point game at the half, and the Gamecocks were able to get within 2 late, but just didn't have enough firepower to get over the hump.
Yeah, one of the strange things about this game from a South Carolina standpoint, they end up losing it by 9, 73-64, but they had one of their better 3-point shooting games of the season. They knocked down 10 3-pointers. They were 16 of 21 at the line. So that's ordinarily you do that, you're going to win the basketball game. I'm just trying to see. It looks like, Georgia made more field goals overall. Where did you see as the the bit of difference between the two teams? What made the difference for Georgia?
Well, Lamont Paris said it in the post game. Giving up 40 points in the first half, that's not a recipe for success for this Gamecock basketball team. You've seen them in SEC play. They're typically been in the 60s, a couple times in the 70s, I think. But they need to, play good defense, control the pace, make teams play an ugly game. And like I said, Georgia just didn't do that in the first half. And they were shooting the ball well. At one point, they were 12 of 18 from the field. They ended up, I think, 53% in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't shoot it very well in the second half, and that obviously helped the Gamecock make that comeback. But I think Coach Paris is right. The recipe for this team is to, make it ugly, make it, not attractive basketball, and try to get teams to play their way. And it just hadn't happened for whatever reason once conference play began, and it's been a tough SEC road. They won 13 games a season ago, and right now sitting on 2 wins in the league with just one more game to go.
Yep, you're right. Been a very disappointing year. All they can hope for is to go hunting for players in the offseason, go portaling, probably have to spend more money. They're talking about, the word makes the round is they've been promised more NIL money. To me, that's kind of the cop-out excuse we're going to hear from everybody now every time they have a losing season. Well, we just need more NIL money to go buy players. I mean, I guess that's a legitimate cop-out, but it is a cop-out.
I 100% agree with you. I think you're looking at this team this year, and for me personally, I think it makes me appreciate the job that Cooper did running the point last year for this Gamecock team.
Yeah.
He really controlled everything, I thought. And they've really missed that this year. And I think that's been one of the biggest differences in this team from last year to this year. It was a close game last night, 9-point game, but they have 6 other losses in league play by a combined 20 points. So they've been in games, they've had a chance to win, but just haven't had that leadership and gotta, when things aren't necessarily going your way, to take control and, get the ball in his hands and make things happen. And I think that's been the biggest difference from last year to this year.
I agree. And, you look at this year's team and you think about who's going to come back. I know that there was conversation about Nick Pringle maybe taking advantage of the junior college rule, though I just saw today that 2 baseball players at Tennessee who tried to get a judge to rule in their favor on the junior college rule were denied. So that might not be an automatic rubber stamp thing for Nick Pringle to get another year. You got to figure that CMB had another big game, 24 points. He had 5 assists. He had 5 rebounds. I mean, I guess you got to figure he's probably going to move on. So you kind of wonder who's going to, off the current roster, there really is nobody you can look at to say that's going to be the go-to person for next year, I would say at this point.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to see a very revamped roster for the Gamecocks next year. Like I say, with the portal, you have some leaving, you have many coming in. Yeah, I think Murray Boyles is probably heading off to a pro contract somewhere. I think this team's going to look completely different. And for Pringle, it probably depends on what day of the week it is and what judge you get in front of. I don't think it's a hard, concrete rule on how they rule on these things. And then Miles Studi, Paris said last night, he's also submitted paperwork to try to get another year back, but he might have played too many games to get that extra year. It would be his 6th year. So it'll be interesting to see what Paris and the staff does. I think they definitely going to have some money to get into the portal and see what they can bring in. But I think this is going to be a completely different team next year than what you saw this year.
Well, it might be a good idea because they got this hotshot guard. First of all, they got a pretty good-looking recruiting class in high school coming in, including Eli Ellis, who, I view him as a volume shooter. He can score, and he likes to shoot from what I can tell. It looks to me like he dominates the basketball. And he can do a lot of things. I mean, he dribbles, he can pass, so he can get you assists, he can get you points. So it's to me, if you kind of clear the deck here and make way for this guy to come in, you don't have older guys maybe resenting the fact that here comes this hotshot freshman dominating the basketball. You bring him in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, he now becomes the man without people like saying, "Hey, earn your time." And if he's as good as advertised, that he could be, even though he's a little 5'11", 6-foot guard, maybe he's going to be, the game turner for the Gamecocks, along with some other people. They got to get some better bigs for sure, especially if Pringle and CMB are gone. All right, we'll let you go. What's happening in high school basketball down there today?
The first game, the Berkeley girls defeated. Oh my gosh, who they even beat, Phil? I'm so old I can't even remember who they beat just a couple hours ago.
Yep.
The Berkeley girls advanced. They beat North Myrtle Beach.
There you go.
Pretty handily, 62-37, I think was the final. And then the Goose Creek boys, Blake Hall, a good coach down at Goose Creek, he's got them back in the championship after they beat Berkeley boys, 60-46. Stags actually had a lead there in the fourth quarter, but let it get away from them at the end. And right now we got Greenville and Greenwood girls playing for the Upper State Division 5A Division II state championship.
All right. We thank you, my friend. Have a great rest of your night. Talk to you soon.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give you just a couple of quick comments from Lamont Paris following last night's loss to Georgia. Let him kind of put it in perspective.
Well, I thought we were better defensively in the second half. It's hard. Our recipe for winning typically doesn't involve 40 points in a half, typically. I mean, I don't know if many people's does, but ours certainly does not. And so we dug a hole that way and thought the guys did a good job fighting in the second half. And we cut the lead down to 2. I think we gave up an offensive rebound on that possession. We had it at 4 again after a timeout, and we gave up a layup on that one. So we had a couple of moments that were real moments that were chances for us to do something defensively and really put ourselves in a position to take the lead. And so we didn't handle those situations great, but they have a good team. They're extremely competitive. I mean, they really compete. That's a word everyone uses, but that team competes. Particularly a couple of their individuals really compete, and it's hard to describe what that means. But it's not just going out and playing against the other team, but they really competed. And I thought that was the difference in a lot of these things for loose balls, rebounds, stuff like that. They imposed their will trying to get to the basket at times when we were in decent position. But our effort was good. The guys wanted to win. We made a nice run there in the second half, just weren't able to take the lead. I think if you get in a game like that, once you take the lead, I think mentally that's a huge hurdle to overcome, and confidence starts to soar.
All right, comments Lamont Paris after last night. So the Gamecocks going to finish dead last. Boy, I tell you, what a roller coaster. Came in, first year, losing record. Last year, makes the NCAA, sets all kind of school records. And this year, back to the bottom. It's not what you're looking for. You're looking for some consistency. And, hey, coaching staff, head coach, got to share the responsibility for the position that the team is in at this point. They really shouldn't have been this bad, record-wise. Be back in just a moment.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a dentist. I want to be an engineer.
Making dreams come true starts with making a plan. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to invest in a child's future education so they can chase any dream. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax-deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college today at futurescholar.com.
Mike here for my good friend Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage. Let's face it, it's been a rough go for mortgage rates the last couple of years. And now more than ever, you need someone on your side to get you the very best possible rate on a new mortgage or a refi. That's where Troy comes in. 27 years of experience working for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, rehabilitation loans, all doable with my man Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage. And when I say doable, I mean the best possible rate that's out there. It's a phone call that can literally save you thousands of dollars. 803-238-0111. 803-238-0111. You can also check out the website ggmortgage.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
Hey, South Carolina, get ready for the ultimate fishing event. Major League Fishing's Bass Pro Tour is coming to Lake Murray. Join fans of all ages at the Fishing Show, Watch Party, and Trophy Ceremony, Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th at Dreher Island, both days starting at 1 o'clock. Meet the world's top anglers. Enjoy free food and win amazing prizes. Meet Paw Patrol, Sky, and Marshall. And the first 50 kids 14 and under get a free Abu Garcia rod and reel each day. It's all happening at Dreher Island State Park, March 8th and 9th. Get all the info at MajorLeagueFishing.com/attend.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, 11-2, Clemson. That's over now. Clemson wins over Presbyterian. 11-2, just went final. And the final line, 11-12-0 for the Tigers, 2-7-2 for Presbyterian. And the Tigers today, they did not hit a home run. They did not hit a home run, but they did have 12 hits. And they got, they used a bunch of pitchers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They used 7 different pitchers. And Tigers gave up 7 hits, 2 runs, both earned. Their pitchers struck out 5 and walked 2. Did not hit a batter, and they had 1 wild pitch. Offensively for the Tigers, Purify, I'm telling you, I think he's the best player on the team. 3 hits, 4 RBIs for him today. He's such a pest. I mean, if you're the other team, this Purify is such a pest. He's fast. You know, he beats out hits. He steals bases. Good defender. Listy had a couple of hits and an RBI. Crichton, playing left field and right field, he had 3 hits on the day. So that's the top of the offense for the Tigers as they defeat Presbyterian to continue their winning ways, and they'll continue their homestand coming up this weekend. We got much more to come. South Carolina Citadel getting underway. We'll hear from Smitty. We're going to talk about a top high school tournament in Georgetown we'll be attending tomorrow night. That's coming up.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. The White House confirms ongoing talks and discussions with Hamas officials amid the ongoing ceasefire with Israel. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said President Trump supports the dialogue between U.S. officials and Hamas.
He believes is good faith effort to do what's right for the American people.
Leavitt declined to provide details on the talks, but noted that there are American lives at stake. She also said Israel has been consulted about the direct engagement with Hamas. Greg Clugston, Washington.
President Trump also issued what he calls a last warning to Hamas to release all remaining hostages held in Gaza. Trump, in a statement on his Truth Social platform soon after meeting 8 former hostages at the White House on Wednesday, added that he was sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. There was plenty of severe weather happening this Wednesday across the U.S.
Powerful storms that killed 3 people in Mississippi and ripped roofs from buildings in a small Oklahoma town are charging across the nation. The severe weather is threatening more communities in the central to eastern United States with wide-ranging weather. Forecasters also warned that a Pacific storm was expected to bring widespread rain and mountain snow across California and other parts of the West. Blizzard conditions in Nebraska, Iowa, and parts of southern Minnesota made travel there dangerous. Blizzard sound out of Iowa is courtesy of Trooper Paul Gardner. I'm Haya Panjwani.
President Trump is granting a 1-month exemption on his stiff new tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada for U.S. automakers. Worries persist that the newly launched trade war could crush domestic manufacturing. On Wall Street, the Dow by 485 points. More at townhall.com.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
The EU wants to protect its production of EVs from global competitors.
On electric vehicles, there's fierce competition from China, but also the US. European manufacturers are hampered by high costs for converting plants and high wage bills. Then there are potential tariff wars looming, both with the US and China. EU Commissioner Séjourné calls it a pivotal moment. The Commission is proposing protectionist measures, including a law that will stipulate that electric cars sold in the EU must use a certain amount of European components.
The BBC's Danny Eberhardt. A power failure in Buenos Aires has left hundreds of thousands of customers without electricity in the Argentine capital, shutting off traffic lights, stranding subway passengers, and testing the electric grid for the second time in 24 hours during a sizzling summer heat wave. News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Mostly clear this evening with a low temperature dipping to 40. Tomorrow the sunshine is plentiful, but we're cooler with a high of just 59, and it'll stay breezy for you. For Friday, look for a blend of sunshine and clouds, a high topping out at 67. And don't forget, we spring forward this weekend with an hour on Saturday night. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888 898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, it's just Corn tonight along with the plumber, Josh. Chris will be off the rest of the week after the Cinderella run by Coastal Carolina through the Sun Belt Tournament ended in their opening game last night. And so, long ride home. He needs a couple of days to re-energize after it's a tough grind basketball season, especially in that league where you're, all over the place. You're in Louisiana, you're in Texas, you're in West Virginia, you're all over the place. So take the rest of the week off. He'll be back next week. Basketball, Clemson up 5-3 early on Boston College. Hunter has a three-pointer for the Tigers, and Shefflin has the other 2 points. BC off to a 1 of 4 shooting start. Other basketball tonight, Florida and Alabama just getting underway. Playing that game in Alabama. Crimson tied up 4-2 early. And coming up, Missouri and Oklahoma, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Cal and Louisville. And let's see. Let me see here. Who else we got? Let me just double check here for some others of local interest. This being Wednesday night. We got more than that. Pittsburgh and NC State, they're underway. NC State's leading 6-5 early on there. Florida now up on Alabama 9-6. Alabama having a little bit of a tough time of it of late, though they're still great. I mean, they're still going to be a team that can make a deep run. Florida, a lot of people think they can make it to the Final Four. Upstate plays Gardner-Webb tonight. That's a tournament game in the Big South. Missouri and Oklahoma, Tennessee, Ole Miss, California, Louisville, Stanford, Notre Dame. That's what we have on the basketball schedule for you tonight. And do a quick check on the SEC Women's Tournament, which opened today in Greenville with all the play-in. Got play-in games today, and, of course, South Carolina doesn't play until the end of the week. Gamecocks will be the number 1 seed, of course, and they'll play on Friday afternoon. And so they kind of wait for the teams to work their way to them by working their way through these play-in games. And so, third quarter action, Missouri is leading Mississippi State 46-34. That's in the third quarter. And let's see, get some earlier games here from today. Earlier games today, Georgia beat Arkansas 79-74. It's 12-13. Tennessee just blew out Texas A&M 9-16, 77-37. My goodness, 77-37. So Tennessee's moved on. Georgia's moved on. You got Missouri and Mississippi State right now. And then the last game of the night will be Auburn against Florida. And now for tomorrow, Tennessee will play Vanderbilt. That'll be at 11 o'clock. Georgia and Oklahoma will play at 1:30. And then Ole Miss, the 7th seed, and Alabama, the 6th seed, they're waiting on their opponents to be determined. And then South Carolina sitting there waiting to play on Friday at noon. Okay. We got just so much stuff going on, including, and we're going to be there tomorrow. Looking forward to going down to the great town of Georgetown. What a beautiful town. Now they got the smell out of it. Wasn't always such a beautiful place, but they got the smell out of it many years ago from the paper mill. Though I think if you lived down there, you probably never noticed it. But it has always been the home of one of the best high school baseball tournaments in South Carolina, which means it's one of the best events anywhere. Used to be called the IP Classic. International Paper, for many years, was the sponsor. International Paper, unfortunately, is closed in Georgetown, and thus the name has gone with it. But some great folks, some great business people in Georgetown, natives, residents, owners, operators of Coastal Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Datsun. Oh, I throw the Datsun in there. The Brown family, their group has stepped up to sponsor the event, and it's called now just simply the Classic. The Classic. And it is a classic high school baseball tournament beginning tomorrow, and we're going to be there broadcasting tomorrow night with my good friend Brandon Brown joining us here on Sports Talk to kind of give us a preview, because the action, Brandon, you guys get underway bright and early tomorrow right around noontime.
Yeah, Bill, thanks for having me on. It's we're really, really excited. I know my family's excited to be able to step in and do this for our town. But the whole town's excited. It's like it's a huge boom to the local economy. But it's a place that if you're a little kid that grew up in Georgetown, you just have memories going to this tournament and running around this park, buying hot dogs and hot chocolate and just watching some great baseball. But it's the best high school baseball tournament in the state, hands down.
Oh, sure. You were one of those little kids running around, I'm sure. Tell us about the ballpark. It's named for the Hall of Fame coach Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson Park. It was originally Georgetown County Stadium, and the first recorded athletic contest in that stadium was all the way back in 1896. And so it's just a ton of history there. But here we are in 2025 playing a high school baseball tournament. Just so much history. When you walk in, you see in the history of this tournament, we've had in 34 years, we've had 11 guys that played in this tournament that were drafted in the first round of the MLB draft.
Wow.
And 93 overall draft picks. So we're interested to see, are we going to get number 12 next year? Are we going to get numbers 94 through 100? Who knows? But there's a lot of talent coming this year.
Give us the field.
Yep. So in one bracket, you have Daniel High School, who's making their first appearance. You have Georgetown, who's making their 35th. Then you have Lucy Beckham, who very interestingly enough is coached by a Georgetown alumni, B.J. McConnell, so they're making their first appearance. And Woodmont High School is also making their first appearance. They're coming back for multiple times in the other bracket is Chapin High School. And then the defending state champions, James Island Trojans, are coming back. They're now in 5A, and they're the number one overall, all classes number one team in the state. And then the team that they beat in the state championship last year, Lawrence High School, is also in their bracket. So Saturday at 2:15 is just going to be the marquee game, James Island versus Lawrence, a rematch of last year's 4A state title game. And rounding out that field is one of the most talented, if not the most talented team in the field, which is TL Hanna, who has 3 kids who've already committed to go to South Carolina to play.
Wow. They're loaded. So I imagine it's not hard to find teams to come play in this event. They're probably lining up to try to get in.
Yeah, it's not real hard whenever you have a history like that. In the history of the tournament, 32 different teams have gone on to win a state championship. So like our first game, James Island and Chapin, you might get the number 1 and number 2 catcher in the state. Like you have Caden Reeves from Chapin, who's the reigning 5A player of the year from Chapin. And then he's going to go against James Island, who's got a shortstop committed to Ole Miss, catcher and a first baseman committed to College of Charleston, along with just a lot of other guys committed to other places too.
Fantastic. Where do the teams stay when they come in?
Yeah, so we put them in 2 different hotels. One hotel on Pawleys Island, Litchfield by the Sea, and then we put the other teams in the Hampton Inn in Georgetown at the marina that overlooks the water. But if there's any teams that don't have a place to stay, we usually put them at your house in Garden City.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, not only do the kids love playing the baseball, but they got to love, being at the beach. Do they get some free time to run around and have a little bit of fun away from baseball?
Yeah, if you're James Island and Chapin, you play tomorrow at 12 o'clock and you're free the rest of the day. You can go to Myrtle Beach, you can go to Charleston, you do whatever you want to do, Pawleys Island, Myrtle's Inlet. There's all kind of things you can do all around. But what we find is that the teams hang around the park, man, because they see the atmosphere. I'm biased, but it's the greatest place to watch a high school baseball game in this state.
Yeah, I can't wait to be there. Is it true now that with the relaxation of all the rules and NIL for both college and high school that the MVP of the tournament will receive a sparkling new Datsun from Brown Chevrolet Cadillac Nissan Datsun?
We're let's just go all the way up to an Escalade. Let's do an electric one.
Have you got your hands on electric cars?
Oh yeah, we're knee deep in them.
Yeah. give a shout-out for the business. You guys are located right there on 17 in Pawleys Island, not far from Georgetown.
Yep. My granddad's from he was from Charlotte, and he had an opportunity to open a dealership in Georgetown, South Carolina, or Virginia Beach. He was born in Marlborough County, so he said, listen, I'll take the one in South Carolina and get back home. And they told him it's in Georgetown, and then he tricked his kids into moving here. He told them it was right across the street from the ocean. And they got here, and there's no social media, and they were like, where's the ocean?
Yeah.
And it was about, a 30-minute ride. But anyway, he started it. He was so involved in his community, man, just so involved. He did anything and everything he could to uplift, youth and high school athletics, and he loved it. And so he died tragically in 1990, so he was only here for 10 years. I just felt like whenever International Paper closed, it was just the right thing to do for our business to step up and sponsor this tournament. And so we put a little more money into it, and we just want to make it the greatest tournament that you could possibly play in. So we're gonna, right now we're all on schedule to have a flyover tomorrow at 12 o'clock for the first game. Have a C-17 going to fly over at 11:59.
Whoa!
We're gonna do a skills contest on Saturday night. We're gonna have a home run derby, a coach's fungo contest, and a catcher pop time contest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Last year, P.J. Morlando hit in that tournament, and he hit 43 home runs. But I'll tell you, there's something that not a lot of people might know about. There is a cult following for our Cook team, which is called the Winyah Bay Cafe, and they are behind the right center field wall, and they have more volunteers than the whole tournament itself, because everybody loves going back there and hanging out with those guys. Go follow them on Instagram at Winyah Bay Cafe.
Oh.
But they are awesome.
I am looking forward to that aspect of it as well. Who's paying for the flyover?
Sports Talk Media Network.
Yeah, send me that invoice. I'll put it on top of all the others. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great time. I think the weather has gotten out of the state, so you should have excellent weather, good temperatures. Ordinarily, you draw good crowds, big crowds.
It was estimated last year at our home run derby we had over 1,100 people there. So it's an amazing atmosphere. If you most high school baseball parks, we're so lucky to have it. Most high school baseball parks is a field, a chain link fence, and some aluminum bleachers. And this is just, we have bucket seats, we have outfield bleachers. There's a designated area for the dads called Dad's Corner. It's just cool, man. It's the best park there is, and if you've never been to a game there, you need to come check it out, because it's the greatest place to watch a game.
Have you got a beer garden yet?
We don't talk about that on the radio.
Okay. That seems. Listen, we're all about fan enhancement and enjoyment, and obviously throwing back a couple is part of the deal. So, well, we will see you.
We can't help what people do before they get in.
There you go. We'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to being there with you guys tomorrow night, doing the show. Looking forward to talking to some folks, and we thank you for coming on. Before we let you go, give us the details again about game times tomorrow, Friday, so if folks are making plans, they can make plans.
The most active social media account that we have is our Instagram. You can go to the Classic_1991. That's the year we started. The Classic_1991. You can see the schedule. But March 6th, tomorrow, through March 9th, we'll start at 12 o'clock tomorrow, and our championship game will be at 3 p.m. on Sunday. The Sunday games will be 5-inning games, other than the championship game, but everything else is obviously a 7-inning game. But Thursday we got 4 games, Friday 4 games, Saturday 4 games, and Sunday we'll have 4 games as well. 16 baseball games. A lot of fun.
Fantastic. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Okay, Brandon Brown from down in Georgetown. The Classic begins tomorrow. We'll be there broadcasting tomorrow night. One of our guests will be one of Clemson's all-time greats. He's going into their Hall of Fame. He is from Georgetown. Mike Johnson. I guess it's Mike Johnson Jr. What a great player he was, and what a team he was on at Clemson. Khalil Green, he was on that team with Jeff Baker. Remember how good that Clemson team was, 99, 20, 21, 22, right through there. South Carolina with the early 2-0 lead on the Citadel. Be right back. We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, it's hunting season in South Carolina this fall, and folks need to be prepared from a legal standpoint.
That's right, Phil. Everyone always needs to buy their hunting license or fishing license. Everyone always worries about losing their license. Well, now that's not a problem anymore because you can keep your license on your phone. That's right, Go Outdoors SC. It's an app. Look for it on your Apple or Android devices. You can buy your license, you can renew your boat registration, and it's all right there on your phone. Remember, Go Outdoors SC in your app store.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there. You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
Hey, South Carolina, get ready for the ultimate fishing event. Major League Fishing's Bass Pro Tour is coming to Lake Murray. Join fans of all ages at the Fishing Show Watch Party and Trophy Ceremony, Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th at Dreher Island, both days starting at 1 o'clock. Meet the world's top anglers. Enjoy free food and win amazing prizes. Meet Paw Patrol, Sky, and Marshall. And the first 50 kids 14 and under get a free Abu Garcia rod and reel each day. It's all happening at Dreher Island State Park, March 8th and 9th. Get all the info at MajorLeagueFishing.com/attend.
George Bryan here with Tsunami Bar Sports and some great spring golf news. If you're ready to mash your tater, I think you need a Laginator. And if you want to get more speed and crack the whip, it's time for a mini stick. So TsunamiBarSports.com, GB10 to get 10% off the Laginator and the mini stick. That's TsunamiBarSports.com, GB10 for 10% off.
Petrie went deep for South Carolina. That's why the Gamecocks are beating the Citadel 2-0. They're in the top of the second. And basketball-wise, Clemson leading Boston College 23-13. Tigers are shooting 59%, 10 of 17, 3 of 5 from 3. They've become like a machine. Hunter's got 7, Wiggins has got 5, Lockins got 5 and 3 rebounds. Only 1 turnover for Clemson, 6 assists on their 10 baskets. Playing good defense, holding BC to 33% shooting. I don't know that anybody's playing. You can criticize the quality opponent. You still have to go play. I don't know if anybody's playing as well. I mean, playing the game, the things that win games, is anybody playing the game as well as Clemson is right now? 25, make that 28-15. Tigers just hit another 3. Who hit that 3? Must have been Zachary, maybe? Tigers are now 4 of 6 from three-point land. Other basketball. Roll Tide, 21-20 over the Plumbers team, Florida. The Plumber. NC State leads Pittsburgh 20-17. And that's what we've got there. Let's go to Andy in Columbia. Our next phone call. We've got Air Nolan and Wade Woodaz. We'll turn our attention to spring football in our last half hour. How about some spring football? Welcome in, Andy. How are you?
Hey, Corn. I'm doing well. Sitting here watching the Carolina game and enjoying Southern Conference commentary. So I won't say what I was thinking.
It is
It
what
almost
it is.
sounds a little better in South Carolina. I'll be honest with you. Maybe you should have hit Mr. Brown up there for something to replace the Sports Talk Pinto. Maybe you could have got an electric vehicle to be.
I might get a
sporting
Datsun.
around.
I might get one of their Datsuns. Always been fond of the Datsun.
I'll tell you what. You get a Datsun that's in good condition, it'll be worth a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, the Sports
Those
Talk
old
Pinto has a lot of value. It has a lot of value on the market, but it has a lot of emotion. We carry a lot of emotional baggage in that car. A lot of emotional baggage.
Okay, a couple of things. Number one, watching the basketball game last night, South Carolina game. I know you have the stats right in front of you.
I do.
But I know CMB. What was South Carolina at the free throw line last night?
They were.
I know CMB missed 3 in a row and at least missed 5 free throws alone.
Well, they were 16 to 21, and he missed the 5. He was 13 of 18.
Right. So but he missed them in some key places too, where it could have shut it down to like a 2-point game and gotten them a little closer and things like that. So I'm not complaining about. He's a great young man, great ball player, but that kind of hurts us a little bit. But it is what it is, and I don't think his 5 free throws would make a difference of what this team has been like this whole year. My other thing I wanted to bring up, and I brought this up to you about a month ago, and I think you were probably thinking I was kidding you, but what is the buyout for Brownell? And what's the possibility of the Rat going after Brownell to go to Miami?
Well, Miami's hired their coach. They just hired a guy from Duke.
Oh, they did hire us?
Mm-hmm. Hired him today.
Oh.
Jay or Ja, Jai. It's either Jay or Ja. I'm not sure how he pronounces it. Jay Davis Jay Lucas. I think it's Jai. Jay Lucas will be Miami's next head coach. Joe Tipton of On3 reporting. 36 years old. Joined Duke as assistant in 22 after a couple of years at Kentucky, native of Houston. So that's going to be the guy.
Does that kind of surprise you that the Rat didn't try to go for Brownell, or does he have a big buyout? Not that it matters to Miami the way they toss around money.
Yeah, I think, I think they're going younger. No knock on Brownell. He's not like, he's not ancient, but he's up there. And, I'd have to look at his contract and see what kind of deal he has from a buyout standpoint. Or
he's not as old as what they just got rid of. They brought in Larinaga.
Yeah.
He was like, halfway 1 foot in the grave already.
Well, he probably
the guy was.
He probably likes the idea. I guess Terry Don hired Brownell. Yeah, Terry Don hired Brownell with Bill DeAndre. They hired Brownell back in the day, and that was like giving a young coach a chance to come to Clemson and establish something and be there a long time, and that's panned out. And so maybe he's looking at this as a young up-and-coming coach coming from a high-level blue blood program to come in and establish something at Miami and be there a long time. Of course, Larinaga gave him a nice long run too. He was not a spring chicken when he got there. He wasn't a spring chicken when he got there, but he lasted a long time.
Well, maybe I thought that Brownell and the Rat had a little bit more of a relationship than they actually did.
You call him the Rat or the Rad?
The Rat.
The Rad.
Ratakovich.
Ratakovich with a D, not a T. Ratakovich. Oh,
I know.
You're having a play on words here. Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wasn't born last night.
Exactly.
Okay, I was born at night. It just wasn't last night.
Yeah, it was the night before last.
Brad Brownell contract. Let's see if I can find this very quickly. The word quick and my computer do not go hand in hand.
Well, I'll listen. Y'all have a good night.
I'll tell you after the break because I've got it right here. I'll tell you after the break. All right, thank you. Be back after this timeout. Air Nolan makes his interview debut on Sports Talk.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Mostly clear this evening with a low temperature dipping to 40. Tomorrow the sunshine is plentiful, but we're cooler with a high of just 59, and it'll stay breezy for you. For Friday, look for a blend of sunshine and clouds, a high topping out at 67. And don't forget, we spring forward this weekend with an hour on Saturday night. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting. Vice President J.D. Vance has visited the U.S.-Mexico border to showcase how arrests for illegal crossings have fallen sharply under President Trump. Vance said the improvement has occurred because Trump is demanding that all of government prioritize the immigration issue in ways former President Joe Biden never did. Vance was joined by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard for an aerial tour of the area around Eagle Pass, Texas. An appeals court has removed the head of the federal watchdog agency in a latest twist in a legal fight over Republican President Donald Trump's authority to fire the special counsel. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 485 points. The Nasdaq rose 267. More details at srnnews.com.
People hear me talking about Broker Solar and how much I like Ken and his team. They ask, hey, can I really trust this guy, Kev? Let me tell you two things. Number one, Ken and Broker Solar are legit. I've known Ken's family for 20 plus years. Seriously, these are local, ethical people. They're not going anywhere and they do things the right way. Number two, Broker Solar is so different than these stereotypes we've heard about in the solar industry. There's no signs on the yard making stupid promises they can't keep. There's no door knockers trying to pressure you at your own door. Ken and Broker Solar will tell you the truth, what it'll cost, and how your solar power investment will pay off. See, we can't pick our power companies. Broker Solar gives you a chance to take some control over your power bill, and I like that, and so should you. Online, it's brokersolar.com, and seriously, reach out to Ken and these folks. It could really make a difference in your quality of life. Brokersolar.com, empowering you so you're not powerless.
If you step onto H&J Cattle's farm, you'll find third-generation farmers upholding the legacy. They embrace sustainability and take immense pride in their craft, raising cattle purely on nature's offerings, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. The result? Unmatched quality beef that's not just good, it's the best in South Carolina. Experience the distinct flavor of our finest registered Hereford and Wagyu beef. Visit us online at HandJCattle.com or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle.
Paul Grant here, Columbia's Secret for Weight Loss, here to talk about how we can help you lose up to a pound a day naturally. Unlike those other companies that use chemicals, drugs, dangerous hormones, pills, and things like this, we don't do that here. We help you lose weight naturally. Learn how you can do that. It's real simple. Call our office, 803-992-1912, or visit our website, ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com. That's ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
Imagine a home where every corner speaks volumes of care, precision, and impeccable style. At Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovations, we transform spaces with a splash of color and an expert touch. With fully licensed, bonded, and insured craftsmanship, we're not just doing a job, we're upholding a reputation. Whether it's painting, pressure washing, or wood repairs, we handle everything from your honey-do list to major projects. Call us today at 922-5615 and elevate your living space. With Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovations.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with the point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is your favorite get-together, Sports Talk Media Network, 28-15 Clemson, 36-21 Clemson. Tigers are shooting 60%. Unbelievable. 15 of 25, 5 of 7 from 3, 1 of 2 from the line. They've only turned it over twice, 16 to 9 on rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, holding BC to 41% shooting. 1, 2, 3 Tigers have at least 7 points. Zachary, Hunter, and Locken. So spreading it around. Everybody touches the basketball. 7 assists, 16 baskets, 38 points already. There's still 4.5 minutes to go in the half. They're getting it done. Florida and Alabama, 27 all, late in the half. And NC State leading Pittsburgh 30-23. About 3 minutes to go in the half there. And baseball-wise, of course, Clemson has won. They beat PC and South Carolina in the Citadel. We'll head down there shortly to catch up with things from Smitty. They are in the bottom of the second. It's still 2-0 South Carolina with that home run from Petrie. All right, today over at USC, media had a chance for the first time to meet and greet and visit with a number of the transfers now at South Carolina who enrolled early. Of course, a lot of attention to Air Nolan, the transfer quarterback from Ohio State. We had a chance to go one-on-one with the young man who threw for over 10,000 yards and 126 touchdowns in his high school career.
Well, first of all, how has the transition been for you from Ohio State to South Carolina and kind of picking things up around here?
It's been a great transition. I feel like Ohio State and South Carolina are two different programs, but at the same time they bring, pros and cons and stuff like that to the table. I feel like this has been a great transition for me.
What was your experience like at Ohio State for the year that you were there, and what do you take away from it? What kind of things did you learn in that culture, in that system?
It was a good experience. I feel like Ohio State brought the best out of me, and still more to come. I feel like they pushed me every day, they challenged me every day, and they, made sure they were brought into me every day and stuff like that. And I learned a lot from that situation. Things like being patient, not worrying, taking on a challenge, being competitive. And so I learned a lot from that situation, and looking forward to bigger and better things in the future.
What was the experience like for you being around, watching the team as they won the national championship? And do you get a ring? Did you get a chance to celebrate with them? I
didn't get a chance to celebrate with them. I don't know if I'm getting my ring. I've been waiting on it. But I learned a lot. It was a good experience, like being around like guys like Will Howard, Lincoln Keyhoes, Devin Brown, Julian Sand, guys like that pushed me each and every day. And being around a great coach like Chip Kelly and that guy named Beasley there as well, they pushed me every day, man. Like, that was a great experience for me all around.
So you go from one former NFL coach to another with Coach Shula, and when you're working with these guys with NFL backgrounds like they have, how was that beneficial for you?
It's very beneficial. It makes you see the game from a different point of view sometimes. It brings out the best of you, of course, and it challenges you to learn more. Like, people have different ways of learning and different ways of teaching and stuff like that, so it brings the best out of you in certain ways.
And so I'm sure people, when they heard you were transferring to South Carolina, they probably thought, well, why would a guy with great potential to be a starting quarterback come to a place that has an established starting quarterback who's considered an All-American type and a Heisman Trophy type? What are your expectations? What are your plans for this coming season?
Just learn first, and just have that mindset to be ready at all times. You never know what can happen. And just know that it's a great opportunity for me to get out on the field and also learn from the people that's in the room. And then just be the best version of myself whenever it is. It could be outside the building, in the building, on the field, or off the field. Just be the best version of myself, and I feel like everything else will take care of itself.
Has Lenore sort of taken you under his wing since you've gotten here and kind of showed you the ropes and shared some advice with you?
Definitely shared some advice with me, showed me under the ropes and stuff like that. Norris is a cool guy. Like, he's doing just a great person in general. And I feel like this upcoming season is going to be a great challenge for him, great challenge for me and all the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Well, one thing Coach Beamer always says is there's competition at every position, even if you're the starting quarterback and you're as established as Lenore Sellers. So, I mean, you kind of feel like going into spring practice, they're going to give you a good look, and your goal is to push him?
Yes, they definitely probably going to give me a good look. My goal is to push him and make him a better quarterback and get him ready for the NFL. And I feel like, being pushed by somebody is a way to bring the best abilities and the best version out of yourself. So this spring is going to be a good spring, and I'm looking forward to it.
You're left-handed, so, I mean, do things have to change when you go in as a left-handed compared to him being right-handed?
In my opinion, certain things have to change if you're speaking realistically, but at the same time, I can do the same thing a righty can do. So, yeah. But nothing in particular that I feel like it have to change, like the formation. It could be the same as the righty formation or the same as the lefty formation. So, nothing in particular.
As I recall in high school, I mean, you threw for like a gazillion yards. I mean, I think you set all kind of records in Georgia, passing records. And so you come here with a reputation as a big-time thrower. I mean, with the offense in your hands, what will fans see out of you, your style of quarterbacking?
They will see, of course, my accuracy to get the ball down the field. They will also see my sneaky athleticism and then my will to be a leader and go out to win.
Do you like to run the football?
I'll run the football. I prefer passing, but if it's 3rd and 7, I'm going to get the first down. I'll put my shoulder on and go get it.
All right, final thing here. You grew up in Georgia. You went to Ohio State now. You're back here in the SEC territory. So, what drew you to Ohio State, first of all, and now to get back into SEC country and play in that league, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. Like, coming from up north where it's 8 hours away, sometimes you're by yourself and stuff like that. It means a lot. I'm closer to home. My people are able to come see me each and every day if they wanted to and stuff like that. And I'm only 3 hours up the road, so it means a lot to be back in SEC territory. I feel like SEC is the best brand of football. Like, people try to have arguments about it, but there's no question about it. What brand of football is the best? And, I'm willing to make my stamp and put a stamp in the SEC football program.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, Aaron Nolan and our spring practice coverage, South Carolina and Clemson, brought to you by Lawyer Lisa. Visit lawyerlisa.com to find out how Lawyer Lisa and her team can help you plan for your family's future. All right, now to our recruiting, brought to you by Seawells. And what do we have for Seawells as far as daily luncheon buffet on Thursday? I know we've got a roast beef Friday coming up. Do we
roast
have
beef
a
Friday coming up?
We have
what?
a do don't interrupt the host, Plumber. Don't interrupt the host, Plumber. Now, as I was saying, what do we have on Thursday?
Southern fried chicken, hamburger steak with onions, fried pork chops, and baked flounder fillets.
Oh. All right. And a roast beef Friday.
Indubitably.
Okay. And for the very best in the catering business, you know who to call. Just give Seawells that one quick phone call, 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. They'll take care of all your catering needs at their location, or they'll come to your location as well. 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Offensive tackle Leo Delaney, 6'6", 280 from Charlotte, been a target for Dabo Swinney and Clemson going back to 2023 when he came in for a game. Offensive line coach Matt Luke has become heavily involved. And so they had him on campus last March for a spring practice, junior day. He returned for a game in September and for the USC game in November. Be back on campus Saturday for the junior day, connected to a spring practice. So he's looking forward to continuing to build on that already pretty strong relationship that he has with Sweeney and Luke at this point. This will be the first of several spring visits for Delaney. NC State, March 18th, North Carolina, March 19th, Tennessee, March 29th, Michigan, April 5th, Wisconsin, April 12th, Penn State, April 19th. And those visits will go a long way in helping him to determine the other official visits besides the May 30th visit he already has set with Clemson. He hopes to make a decision by mid-July. Offensive tackle Darius Gray will visit Clemson Saturday for the Junior Day, and South Carolina March 17th. He also has spring trips set to LSU March 21st and Michigan April 8th. He's added an official visit to Virginia Tech April 11th to his previous list of officials: Virginia, Georgia, Clemson, Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, Penn State, and South Carolina. Linebacker Caleb Gordon of Gastonia, North Carolina, official at Clemson from May 30th. Also set visits with Liberty June 13th and Virginia June 20th. He's looking at spring practice visits to Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Pittsburgh. Running back Carson Baker has set official visits with Clemson May 30th, Florida State June 6th, Ohio State June 17th, Texas A&M June 20th. USC and Georgia should also be getting officials. Offensive tackle Adam Guthrie arrived at Clemson yesterday for a multi-day unofficial visit. He has officials scheduled with Clemson, Ohio State, and Penn State. Defensive tackle Bryce Perry Wright plans to be at Clemson Saturday. Clemson target linebacker Caden Henderson will visit Miami Friday. South Carolina target wide receiver Travis Johnson set an official visit to Georgia May 16th. Also set to visit South Carolina, Indiana, and Virginia Tech officially. USC target offensive tackle Kamari Blair was offered by Virginia Tech. 2027 offensive tackle Kelsey Adams of College Park, Georgia, will take an unofficial to USC March 29th. He'll visit Georgia March 15th, Alabama April 4th, Tennessee April 12th, and Nebraska April 26th. 2027 wide receiver Jaden Kelly Murray was at Clemson on Monday, and Orangeburg Prep tight end Tilden Riley visited Georgia Tech on Monday. There you go, recruiting on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. A reminder to follow along with our recruiting stuff on X. Make sure you sign up for our X. Please take my X. My X is SC Sports Now. Not SC Sports 2 weeks ago. Not SC Sports 3 weeks in advance. SC Sports Now. SC Sports Now. SC Sports Now on X. Website SportsTalkSC.com. An update from Smitty coming up, and some comments from Clemson linebacker Wade Woodaz coming up as well.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, let's say I'm out in the woods or I'm on the water and I need to reach a DNR agent. How do I do that?
Operation Game Thief, Phil. It's been around 30-plus years. You can call us at our 24-hour hotline any time of day, 1-800-922-5431. To report wildlife violations or to get help if you're in trouble in the woods or on the water, call us at Operation Game Thief, 1-800-922-5431.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Bringing you the latest in sports across South Carolina and beyond. This is Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit LawyerLisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, let's head down to Charleston, get the latest from Smitty on Clemson and the Citadel. Last we had, Gamecocks were up 2-0 with a 2-run homer. What's going on, Smitty?
Well, that lead has been extended. Evan Stone, that's right, that Evan Stone hit one toward Meeting Street that hasn't landed yet to give the Gamecocks a 3-0 lead. It went right over the scoreboard in the palmetto trees in left field. John Whittle was sitting about 2 seats down from me, and I said, you ever seen Evan Stone hit a ball like that? And he said, once, earlier this fall when they were playing College of Charleston down here. So Evan Stone likes playing down here in Charleston. And before the game started, we said, I'm sure Paul Manieri wants to see some consistency, maybe the bottom of the lineup come up. Well, that hasn't happened yet. The bottom of the lineup still has no hits. All the damage has come via the homer from Evan Stone and Ethan Petrie. So no surprises yet here. We're into the third. It's 3-0 South Carolina.
How has Evans looked to you on the mound?
I think Evans has looked good. He's at upper 80s, and he has really mixed his pitches to keep the Citadel off balance. Now, I'm hearing roars from the crowd. I had to step away to get a quiet spot, but I'm hearing some roars from the crowd, so I'm not sure precisely what's going on. But to the point where I picked up the phone, Evans had yet to give up a hit to the Bulldogs.
Well, he just gave up a couple because they planted a run, so it's 3-1, 2 outs, 3-1 South Carolina now in the bottom of the third.
Well, there you go. I jinxed him, but both pitchers have looked pretty good. Honestly, Paulson's looked good for the Citadel as well. The Citadel has committed 2 errors, and he made the 2 mistakes. Look, you can hardly blame him for leaving one in the middle of the plate to Stone, who's only hit 4 career home runs and hasn't hit one since 2023 before tonight. But it was a cardinal sin to leave one where Ethan Petrie could reach it. There was first base was open when Petrie came up in the first inning, and the Citadel and Coach Triplett, who I love, elected to pitch to him. I don't think I would have, and he probably wishes he had that one back.
All right, Smitty, enjoy the rest of the game. Look for your post-game coverage on the website. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely, and I'm tweeting at SC Sports Now. So like you, I heard your Henny Youngman line. Take my X, please, at SC Sports Now. Follow along, catch up with us, and we'll have all the post-game for you, including Coach Manieri's post-game comments for you at SportsTalkSC.com.
All right, thank you, man. We appreciate it. SC Sports Now. SC Sports Now is where to go. Update on Clemson basketball here real quick, and it's 45. Make that 49-39 Clemson at the break. Tigers shoot 59% in the first half. Back to some spring practice coverage brought to you by Lawyer Lisa. Visit LawyerLisa.com to find out how Lawyer Lisa and her team can help you plan for your family's future. Wade Woodaz, Clemson linebacker, met with the media the other day after one of their spring practices. And here is some of what he had to say as he takes a question from the Clemson media.
A lot of new voices out there. What's it like having Thomas Allen, Ben Boulware, and then Tom Allen, with your group?
I love it. It's the intensity is like what I've dreamed of. I would say it's kind of weird. I love the barking. I don't know, because it helps me get fired up too. I want to go punch a wall. Just listening to Coach Allen come into a room, it just fires me up. So having them all out there, and then having Ben, who's really relatable. 'Cause, I mean, he's only 30. So it's like he was here a couple years ago. I mean, not really, but so he's played it and done everything we've done. So having him out there talking to us, and then he's just real, like off the field too. Like I can talk to him about whatever, girls, whatever, because he gets it. So.
Coach Allen coming into a room. I mean, if you were to describe that to somebody, what that looks like, what that sounds like, what does that mean?
Crickets. Like everybody in the room is like paying attention. He gets your attention for sure. A lot of pacing too. He paces a lot. So everybody's like this, watching a ping pong match. But yeah, he commands the room for sure.
Does he remind you of anybody?
Stories of what I've heard of Coach V. Coach V recruited me, so I never got to experience him as a coach. But yeah, Coach V.
What was your first interaction like to meet him?
Let me think. I think it was. Oh, I texted him because I had that intuition. Coach Allen actually coached with my high school coach, so it was, I don't know, it was in the works, I guess. And my high school coach texted me, said Coach Allen might end up being your coach. So then I was doing some research on him, and I found out, and then I texted him first, and then I met him whenever, the day he got to campus or whatever. So.
I think there's obviously stories of him knocking out his front teeth in practice and stuff. Has he done anything extreme?
Yeah, I think he tackled Corey and Gibson today. He had a big PBU, and he ran up and tackled Corey, and Corey was like, "What just happened? Who did I get hit by?" So yeah.
He also talked about that he has those meetings and he has a whole notebook, and he wants to know all of your interests and everything about you. What do you remember from that first meeting, sitting down with him and just trying to get to know you?
We talked about Tampa a lot because he lived there. Thomas went to Plant High School, which is a mile down the road from my high school. So we talked about that a little bit. Yeah, he's just a real genuine dude. I'm excited to play for him for sure.
Ben's a guy that is really, I think, trying to bring you along and take you to the next level. How's he helping you?
He knows how to get under my skin. So I think that's a good thing. He told me, we went to eat a couple weeks ago just to set an expectation of what he expects from me. And he said he's going to apply pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. So what's up, Sammy?
All right. Wade Woodaz, interesting comments. Tom Allen, the new DC, but not really a linebacker coach because Ben Boulware is taking that over, along with Tom Allen's son, is also working with linebackers. Tom Allen going out and tackling Corey and Gibson, showing him how to hit. Yeah, he's an energetic, active guy. Saw this today from a reporter, Bill Connolly, ESPN writer, that the strength of schedules for this coming season for all the teams, and South Carolina's strength of schedule is ranked 7th in the country, while Clemson's strength of schedule is ranked 34th in the country. It's what happens, I guess, when you live in the SEC. Vanderbilt is ahead of South Carolina. They're 6th, and Kentucky's 8th. So LSU, Alabama, couple of teams behind South Carolina that South Carolina will play. Jerry Palm, his latest bracketology going into today. Clemson, a 5 seed, playing Liberty in Denver. Tigers looking to move on up on those seed lines. They keep winning games. See what they do. That will do it. Thank you, Plummer, Josh. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. See you tomorrow night from Georgetown.
4XL Columbia W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107.